We got some things to address on this episode. Welcome back to No Pump Fakes. We officially have had playoff basketball. I know it's just been, a couple of games, but so what? Apparently agendas get pushed early. I'm not one to do that, but just like that, a couple of teams are up 1-0 on their series. And of course, as of this recording, one of those lovely teams, let's start with the Boston Celtics. Let's start with the Boston Celtics and Kevin Durant. Or is that the series you would like to get active with first?
We can get active. It doesn't matter. It was
a
great weekend. Great weekend.
Let's do it. Well, not for everybody. Not for everybody. Not all the players had a good weekend. But anyway, all right, go ahead. What do you think about that Celtics Nets game one?
What stood out to me the most? STL hometown hero, Jayson Tatum. Game winning. First game winning buzzer beater since what was it, 2004 or 2002 for the Boston? Something like that. I don't know. Something like that since Paul Pierce. But I mean, Jayson Tatum special. Top 10 player in the world. 3-level scorer, can guard 1 through 4 in the basketball court. And the Nets have a problem because the problem is Jayson Tatum can go out and drop 30 and also can go out and defend the best player on the court, which was Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant can go out and drop 30, but Kevin Durant can't defend Jayson Tatum. That's a problem.
So, I mean, we can get active. So,
that's a problem.
No, it's a problem. Who's the best player in the series, though?
It should be Kevin Durant if they want to win. But like I told you before, we had that preview. Jayson Tatum is not scared of these guys. Jayson Tatum looks Kevin Durant in the eye. He's eye level. It's like, yo, he's not scared. He's like, yo, I think I'm better than you. That's his mentality. That's his confidence. I think I'm better. Jayson Tatum believes in his heart and his soul that he is not only the best, better than Kevin Durant. He probably believes he's the best player in the Eastern Conference. Like, that's his confidence. That's his mentality. And you know what? According to what happens in the series, he may be right. Who knows? Who knows?
Hey.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Playoff basketball is here.
Who knows? That's so crazy. It's so crazy how one broken ass play can change a narrative. They won off a damn layup.
True.
And again, not taking anything away from it, they won, right? The first two words of that statement was they won. So again, you win a ball game, that changes everything. You go out and lose, that also changes. So, but let's not get carried away. I know what you mean, and I know you're not coming out and saying that Jayson Tatum is the best player in the world, but
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, no.
I'm not saying that. But I do mean when I say this, when I talk about like, yo, Jayson Tatum can go out and drop 25, 30 points. We also could guard the best player on the opposing team. Kevin Durant can drop 30 points, but he can't necessarily guard the same way Jayson Tatum can guard, or Jaylen Brown can guard, or even Marcus Smart can guard. Not saying that Kevin Durant is not a great defender, because I think he's above average perimeter defender, but Jayson Tatum is the reason why I say he's the best young player in the game. It's not just because his offensive capabilities, also because his defensive capability. Like, he literally can guard 1 through 4 in the basketball court. Like, he's a two-way superstar. He's special.
Yeah, and it's so funny you talk about being a two-way player. I know everyone's going to bring up that last play with Kevin Durant and how, it just didn't work out. I would say it was bad. It was nasty, especially in the playoffs. But at the same time, right? It was just one play. You already know, Timmy, I'm a whole player's accountable. But I don't want people to say like, oh, KD's a bad defender, or KD isn't a great rim protector.
No, that's what we said.
Let's be very, very clear. He's still a 7-foot agile and mobile defender that can still get it done. He just, he kind of fell asleep on that last play. It is what it is. He didn't have a great game one, but I still feel that he's the best player in this series. And again, like I said, if you really think about it, right? Kevin Durant having that type of game and they only losing by 1 on a buzzer beater.
Hey, talk about it.
Let's like, this wasn't okay, KD and Kyrie had fantastic games and they still lost. So now you might worry, hey, KD didn't have a great game and they lost by 1 on the road.
True. So
I know Nets fans, it might sting a little, but you look at the bigger picture, all right, whatever. And at the same time, Celtics fans, don't get too cocky. All right, you up in the series, let me get a little active, but don't act like
Kyrie was here.
You feel me? Kyrie here.
Yeah.
Kyrie here. I mean, he did drop that, 39 piece on your head top. But now don't let Kevin Durant wake up. Don't let, you feel me? Because you really think about it, 9 for 24 from the floor, that's not about to
That's an
Do
anomaly.
you feel me?
for
You
Kevin
know that's
Durant.
not about to happen often. Shout out to the Celtics.
Yeah.
You feel me? They definitely locked up, I think, on one of those last possessions. You know, they did what they had to do. Right? I'm not going to take anything away from it. It wasn't like Kevin Durant was, all right, missing lays and shit like that. The Celtics did what they had to do.
Yeah.
But don't poke a bear. Right? Like, don't be happy with you got.
They already poked one, right?
Right. No, but they poked the younger brother, right? They poked the one that, like, again, Kyrie is, feel me, cold.
Yeah.
But if you got to choose between which one you can get at, hey, you know. But yeah, hey, they better hope. They better hope Kevin Durant has a similar game like that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
And that's the thing about the Brooklyn Nets. It's just like the reason why I said that in order to make it to the finals, I probably wouldn't be surprised if the Brooklyn Nets got to win 3 Game 7s. First round, second round, third round. Because like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they have to play spectacular all the time together. It's not going to, even though that Kevin Durant had a bad game, they lost. But they're going to have to play well enough together to win series and close out series. And that's a lot of pressure. Like, it's a difference where you can have like, you got like 3 superstar players or a big 3 or whatever, or had James Harden. You know what I'm saying? 2 out of the 3 plays well. No, now you're relying on 2 players playing like well all the time. And that can be very, very dicey, especially in the postseason where we know it's kind of like, role players tend to show up at home and not necessarily away. But luckily for the Brooklyn Nets, we could be seeing another superstar talent soon this series.
Oh, and Ben Simmons, that'd be cool. That'd be nice to see. Just add a little.
Because if you think about it, because if that was the case, we know it would have been Ben Simmons guarding Jayson Tatum. That shit wouldn't happen.
But I think the thing that bothers me about the last play was that the fact that it wasn't even Kevin Durant was guarding Jayson Tatum. It wasn't like KD got scoring. Because if you get scoring, okay, whatever. It's still Jayson Tatum. But that was more of a mental mistake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, okay, Jayson just got busy and just, you feel me, got a bucket. All right, you charge that to the game. That was just like,
it's crazy.
Not knowing where the ball is. That's something that like really, really hurts. Because that's not an X's and O's. That's not a coaching thing. That's not something you go back to the drawing board and say, all right, here's what we can adjust.
Yeah.
Know where the ball is. Know where you're playing. And so, but again, it's Kevin Durant, so you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt and know that moving forward, he's going to make that adjustment. He's earned that. He's not no damn rookie. This is a 2-time Finals MVP we're talking about. So, but it definitely hurts. I think he picked the worst time for that to happen. But
yeah, especially if you look on the previous possession, how the Boston Celtics locked up. Like they really locked up, and then the goal. You know what I'm saying? They locked up. They played extremely well defensively that game. So it's just kind of like you got to play both in the playoffs. Every possession matters. We know this. Like
Facts.
it's not going to be just like you win because of offense. Of course, the game is about a bucket, but at the end of the day, you still have to guard when it matters the most. You got to get timely stops. Like even the Brooklyn Nets. People talk about the Brooklyn Nets defense all year long. I know that mislap on Kevin Durant's part, but they still play well defensively as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I keep trying to tell people, like in the playoffs when it matters the most in the half court setting, like 90% of defense is effort. And you saw the other day, and you're gonna see most of this playoffs that the great players that people that say, oh, they don't really play defense, even they're gonna play defense because at the end of the day, it's the playoffs. It's go time. Every game, every possession matters. Yeah,
facts. And it sucks too, because that last play was such a broken play.
Yeah.
Right? Like you had Marcus Smart, split a double team, drop it off to Jayson, who did a 360 without it dribbling the basketball. Like it was such a broken play. It could have been avoided, right? If you're broken, it could have been avoided. But it is what it is. And so let me ask you something, right?
Close out too.
Yeah.
It goes back to the basic. Like you jump in from no disrespect, but Marcus, I know he had a couple threes that games. The defense had to respect him, but you're closing out like that was Steph Curry, just wild. You know what I'm saying?
I think they probably did that because of the amount of time that was on the clock. Right. So like if you think it's like, okay, 2 seconds, okay, whatever, we gotta jump. Still, it ain't like, but yeah, you're right. That's unacceptable.
Fundamentals. You taught that in elementary school. Fundamentals. Go straight up.
Yeah.
Stay on your toes.
Yeah.
Like you close it out wild like that is OD. It's OD. But especially in the playoffs.
Facts. One game, one possession can really change an entire season. That's so crazy.
One game. One game. Because what happens if they lose the next game? You're down 2-0. Like one game can really be. We see that happen in the NBA Finals. Not saying that the Cleveland Cavaliers were going to beat the Golden State Warriors in that finals, but LeBron James and Cleveland Cavaliers losing that spectacular game that LeBron James put on really just sucked the entire life and momentum out the rest of that series.
It's
so
a
one
waste.
game can do that.
It's a waste.
Yep.
It's a waste, but you kind of think like, okay, if this is what we had to live with, if this was the price we have to pay, right? Losing by a buzzer beater, even though Kevin Durant didn't have a great game, it's like, all right, it definitely hurts, it definitely sucks, but you tell yourself, okay, at the end of the day, we probably shouldn't have won this game if you're looking just at it from a straight up box score perspective, And also too, I want to shout out JT for the assist, facilitating. I knew he had it in his bag. Don't get me wrong, but I think too, just to show him and do this on a big stage, like, okay, I might not be having a great night shooting, or if they're sending the dub, I can still drop it off, whoop-de-woo, and be good. Let me ask something, right?
Facts. He's learned that early too.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah. Do you think Kyrie can lead this team to a championship? I know, obviously,
Kyrie can.
Yeah. Do you think? And the reason why I word that way is obviously like Kevin Durant ain't nobody's Robin, but this idea of like if it came down to it, right? And Kevin Durant did continue to struggle. Just as an example. I don't think he will, but just as an example. Do you think Kyrie could be because all his career, right? Especially when we talk about him with LeBron and now KD, everyone has always talked about Kyrie as being the Robin. He's the greatest Robin ever. But do you think he could be the one that says, you know what? I can be the number one. This is the year that you think can?
Yeah, because he helped co-lead a finals, one of the greatest finals in NBA history. Like, I don't look at that finals as like just LeBron James only. I look at LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. And even if you go back to Kevin Durant, like I always talk, and Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry, like I always talk about like, Kevin Durant made the Golden State Warriors a dynasty. But I still feel like, he co-led a finals with Stephen Curry because Stephen Curry's gravity, Stephen Curry being double, so Kevin Durant being open. It's a lot of things that people have to talk about. Like, just because I may say one thing like, oh, Kevin Durant made the Warriors a dynasty, but he still co-led a finals because like Stephen Curry was there. Stephen Curry drew so much attention. Even LeBron James. Kyrie was there. Kyrie was hitting clutch shots. Kyrie was going crazy in isolation against Klay Thompson. So I definitely believe that if it came down to it, like for this series, like do I believe that Kyrie Irving can be the best player of this series and lead the Brooklyn Nets against the Boston Celtics? Yes, I do. Do I think he can do that in the finals? Yes, I can, because I kind of seen it before. But it's more likely, of course, it's going to be Kevin Durant, just like it was more likely it was going to be LeBron James, just like it was more likely during the Golden State Warriors tenure, it was going to be Kevin Durant, because at the end of the day, those are the better players overall. So
Facts. And, I want to bring your attention up to a tweet that someone sent out. It was from a well enough source that I trust you would respect them. I'm going to say this person's names.
Okay, cool.
It's actually from Akis NBA. I love.
I definitely trust that person.
And this is on Twitter. All right,
True teller.
You said this, and I want you to be able to explain yourself, right? Because what is it? You only get 140 whatever characters you can get in tweet, whatever. I want you to explain yourself because I know you got some haters. I love Nikola Jokic's game, but they said his MVP season this year was better than Russell Westbrook's, all because of some numbers on a spreadsheet.
Hell yeah.
Now, you got a lot of smoke in your mentions. You got a lot of smoke in your DMs for a variety of reasons. Obviously, anytime you go against Jokic,
that fan base is crazy.
It gets nasty for reasons even outside of basketball. It gets nasty. So can you, if you don't mind, of course, explain to yourself as to why you think that, or as to why you were so quick to bring smoke in terms of this, Jokic's performance.
The reason why I was so quick to bring smoke is the reason why that the Denver Nuggets is going to never win a championship with him being their number one option. I've said it multiple times. Like, running your offense through a center is cool. It's great. It's phenomenal. Regular season excitement, highlights, all that rah-rah. But in the playoffs, you need a creator. You need a guy that can put the ball on the floor and get a bucket at any time, any situation. Nikola Jokic is not that. So that's what it really comes down to. As far as like the MVP situation with Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic, and people thinking Nikola Jokic had a better, this season, MVP season than Russell Westbrook, I really don't want to go back on that because I talked about that several times. Russell Westbrook did something that hadn't been done since 1962 that most people thought will never be done in the history of the NBA again. And he was phenomenal, and he was clutch. And it's just kind of like, and he averaged a triple-double. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, regardless of how people feel about if Nikola Jokic had a better MVP season, to me, it's not even a debate. It's not even an argument.
Okay.
So it is what it is. But I had smoke. I had smoke because, like, in the playoffs, Nikola Jokic plays well in the playoffs. He does. But I'll remind folks, the closest time that they were ever like a series contender, the best player in that series was Jamal Murray. And the reason why it's Jamal Murray, because at the end of the day, in the playoffs, when it matters the most, you have to have your best player be able to create their own shot, get a bucket in any situation. Nikola Jokic is great, the passing, the scoring at times, but he cannot do that. He just doesn't have that in him. Like, people compare him to Dirk Nowitzki. No, we can't. No, don't compare him to Dirk Nowitzki because it's levels. It's the same thing with, like, who else? Like, we saw Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis could create his own shot. Like, the 2020 NBA Finals. Like, Nikola Jokic just can't do that. It is what it is.
So here's what I'm going to say to that. I'm with the Jokic versus Russ MVP argument, right? What we saw from Russ was historic. It was the first time no one ever thought that would ever happen again. Here's where I think you lost me as well as a lot of people was when you mentioned something along the lines of numbers on a spreadsheet. 27, 14, and 8 is outrageous. Yeah. Whether you're a box score person, an eye test person, you prefer guards or percentage, 27, 14, and 8 for anyone is outrageous. That's not normal. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's anyone really in the league that's capable of doing that. Yeah. When you all three of those things, so to me, like, if you want to say that, okay, Jokic can't be the best player on a championship team, I think it's more of if you're going to say that, how many guys realistically can, right? Can Anthony Davis be the best player on a championship team? Can Joel Embiid be the best player on a championship team? Well, right? These are, we're going to find out. But the thing is, though, you got to remember those two guys, ironically enough, that I just named, Anthony Davis, he won one with LeBron James, another perimeter player. Yeah, Joel Embiid, he's getting ready to play with James Harden, another great perimeter player. Jamal Murray, I mean, I'm not here to compare Jamal to LeBron and James Harden, but just the idea that there's obviously levels. Mm-hmm. And so a part of the reason why we're able to say Anthony Davis won, it was able to do that was because he played with LeBron. I'm not taking anything away from AD at all, but I'm also not going to ignore the fact that you were able to play with one of the greatest players of all time. Yeah. That's just, it sucks, but the game is the game.
When I say numbers on a spreadsheet, I'm not talking about the points, the rebounds, and assists. I'm talking about when you get advanced at. I'm talking about the VORT. I'm talking about the defense, the offensive rating. I'm talking about the defensive rating and stuff like that. That's what I'm more talking about. I know the real numbers.
No, like I said, that's why I wanted you to explain it.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all the other bullshit that people like to pretend that really matters. That at the end of the day, these are just numbers that guys that made up because they didn't know what they were watching, so they had to put something in the game. So now they can his VORT was this. Like, his impact is this. It's cool or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, that shit really don't matter. But the numbers that you're suggesting that do matter, Jokic is phenomenal. But even then, though, when we compare those two seasons, it's still levels when we talk about what Russell Westbrook did and Nikola Jokic did, and that's just the truth. At the end of the day, that's just the truth.
Is that because of the timing, or was it because of the actual season? Right, because
the actual season, it's not even a comparison, bro. Like, I don't. When you watch the season, Russell Westbrook has arguably a top 5 MVP season of all time, bro. That season was phenomenal. That season was crazy, bro. Like, it was crazy. Even how he capped off the regular season. Like, no disrespect to Nikola Jokic, but this season, people was talking about Giannis. People was talking about Joel Embiid. Like, but it was kind of like who's gonna win the MVP? That season Russ put up, it was no like who's going to win the MVP. We were talking about James Harden, but everybody knew Russell Westbrook was winning the MVP that season. Like, his season was that phenomenal and that special. So, I mean, it's levels at the end of the day.
No, it is. And like I said, you already know, for me, Russ, one of my favorite players in the league. But I think a lot of it, too, comes with emotion, right? So you bring up a good point. We haven't seen something like that in years, decades. So the emotion, like, there's no way that someone could be doing that. But with Jokic, it's like, okay, we a couple years off seeing an MVP winning on being a 6th seed. So it's like, okay, if he ain't playing as well as Russ, then he shouldn't win it. But to me, it's like, like we always say, numbers don't lie. And even if you're not a spreadsheet person, it's like,
yeah, of course.
Had he had this season when Russ had his, right? If you were to flip flop, right, Nikola having this season when Russ had his season, instead, would we still be viewing this season as it ain't that big of a deal? Or not that you're saying it's not that big of a deal, but would we just be saying like, all right,
I'll say it.
We've
I don't
seen
think
it before.
I'll say it. It was impressive, but it was like I've seen better. I've seen guys lose the MVP award. I've seen guys not make the top four for like the finalists for MVP or being number 4 on the finals instead of being top 3. And my thing about it is like at the end of the day, the MVP is watered down now. Like the whole legacy impact of the MVP, it used to mean something back in the day in the past, but right now it really doesn't mean nothing. It's not going to really like boost certain guys' all-time status. Like if Nikola Jokic wins 3 MVP awards, I don't think it's going to necessarily like really boost his all-time status in a way. I feel like the MVP
No, it would.
It would, but it's not like it's going to be like, oh my God, he got 3 MVP awards. Like people are going to be like, oh yeah, cool, he got 3 MVP awards, stuff like that. But it's not going to be like certain players in the past where like an MVP really, really matters because their season was very phenomenal. The defense in the regular season was very like tight. It was the games really matter in the regular season. Matchups matter, head to head matter. All those things matter, and that's not Nikola Jokic's fault at all. But that's just me saying, I can point out historically several different years where guys to me had a better regular season than Nikola Jokic, and it wasn't even a thought of them winning the MVP. I could go to the list of the Hall of Famers, LeBron, Kobe Bryant. Then I could talk about guys like Tracy McGrady. I could talk about also Allen Iverson a couple years. And I can even go back to last year. This is what I don't like about the MVP because it flip-flops. It's like a flip-phone, on and off. It changes by the year. 1 minute, Stephen Curry didn't win because of his lack of his team success. But everybody knew last year Stephen Curry was the best player in the regular season. But he didn't win the MVP. He finished top 3. And I didn't think he should have won the MVP because of his lack of team success. But this year, now it's like, but he was the best player in the regular season. But this year, Nikola Jokic, it's kind of like, his team, he got him to the 16 and stuff like that. He's the best player in the regular season. But it's just kind of like Stephen Curry was the best player in the regular season, and his team would have been the 8th seed, other than the play-in, of course. But it's just like you gave it to Nikola Jokic, his team was a 6th seed, but then you said the same reason why you gave it to Nikola Jokic, you didn't give it to Stephen Curry. So that's what I'm saying. It just flip-flops. So it's kind of nonsense.
Well, it's probably going to be funny because he's probably not going to win. They might give it to Giannis.
Who's not going to win?
MVP.
It's over with. It's over. I didn't. Nikola Jokic won by a landslide. I guess I'm breaking news, but it is what it is. Nikola Jokic won by a landslide, bro. It's not even close. He won by a landslide.
Damn, all right. There you have it. First breaking news on no pump fight. Damn, by a landslide?
Yeah, it's by a landslide, bro.
Like, so
the ballot's been out. Like you haven't seen them on Twitter, like the people that's voting.
Oh, the votes.
It's
I'll wait till it's official. I'll wait till Woj sends it out.
Yes, you wait till Woj, but just no pump fakes right now. Amon K. Smith is announcing Nikola Jokic won the MVP.
Well, damn, that sucks in terms of just
for all my Denver fans.
You know they're here.
Yeah, you just know that what y'all hate announced it first.
Shout out to Jokic, man. They make him a 2-time MVP, hell of a player. 27, 14, and 8. Led his team to the playoffs. We'll see what he does. We'll see what he does in the playoffs. You feel me? But
quick 4. Three more.
Oh, is Brooms? We're getting Brooms out for that series?
Yeah, it's Brooms. He's getting. It's crazy. The MVP, 2-time back-to-back MVP, probably about to get swept in back-to-back years. That's nasty work.
Back-to-back.
His last round he played and got swept, and now this round he's about to get swept.
It's kind of nasty.
Kind of nasty. I hope not for Denver Nuggets fans' sake, because I will bring that up.
Well, there will be excuses. There will be agendas and narratives that get pushed, just like all the damn time.
Yeah.
And damn, nobody's showing love to Embiid. I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
That's
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy because Joel Embiid is the best center in the NBA, like from a traditional standpoint, but also like probably from a skill set wise as well. So it's crazy.
All right. Enough of the bigs talks. I want to talk about a couple of point guards real quick. You want to talk about Trey or Chris Paul? Which one? I'll let you decide which one you want to get active with.
Talk about CP3. Talk about the best team in the.
I bet. Yeah, duck the other. But anyway, it's Chris Paul.
Duck the other. Stop it.
We'll have a conversation in a minute. We'll have a conversation in a minute. We can talk about Chris Paul first. You chose. Chris Paul had a crazy fourth quarter, game one. Happy for him. I can't even sit here and say that the Suns are here because it's been obvious. We now if you want to say brooms out for that series,
brooms out with the Warriors. Brooms out.
Get them out. Feel me? Clean up shop. But I was thinking, I do like what the Pelicans could have in the future. You feel me? CJ, BI, Zion. That I do like that core.
Like that too.
But for now, brooms. And we said this before, like the playing game, before we even know who won the playing game. If they came out and went brooms.
Yeah. Chris Paul, though. Go ahead and talk about it. I think Chris Paul.
He definitely fast.
It's crazy, though, because I made a post, Akins NBA on Instagram, go follow, saying that basically, like, people talk about, like, longevity when it comes to LeBron James, but, like, Chris Paul longevity is very impressive as well. Like, he's 36 years old. Like, he's still arguably a top 5 point guard in this league right now. And it's just kind of like, we don't really see, like, guys still having that type of impact kind of in their later, careers and being like the second best player on a championship caliber team. It's different having like, you're still playing well, you're this age, but like his overall impact on winning and team success is very, very towards the top when we talk about the Phoenix Suns. They got a lot of reasons why they're winning, but like it's Devin Booker and then it's Chris Paul number 2. But some people, you may ask some people, they even say it's Chris Paul number 1, Devin Booker number 2. I'm not going to say that, but that just goes to show you how great Chris Paul is.
Well, for game one specifically, I would say Chris Paul, just because the performance he put out in that fourth quarter to kind of seal the game and put it away.
That's even more impressive though, this because it get flip flop.
Yeah, but that's why it's really scary though for the rest of the league in the Western Conference. Is the fact that you got 2 guys who can, all right, it's your turn. All right, it's your turn. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, and also shout out to DeAndre Ayton too. Like the Suns, their core, right? Like their big 3, their team overall, and then even outside of that, they have a guy who's a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year, right? So they can get real scary, especially in that first series. I mean, we can, I don't think it's going more than 4, maybe 5. I don't, but again, I'll say, you could make the argument it goes 5 off the strength of CJ or BI going off, but with the amount of bodies that can be thrown in terms of like their overall defenders on Phoenix. You know what? It's tough for me to get active with that.
Nice 4. Nice 4.
Yeah.
Nice work. Nice tune-up.
nice
tune-up for a second round.
Nice visit to the party. You know what I'm saying? They made it to the playoffs in New Orleans. Got some things to kind of work out with, obviously, their former number overall pick. But, 2-7. 2-7. Memphis and Minnesota. Let's talk about it. I'm rooting for Memphis, not necessarily to win the series, but I'm rooting for them to be great. Just because I know a lot of people say that they talk shit and they talk smack and all that, but that's the beauty of it. What do you want them to be?
Bring that NBA back. People's crying about Kyrie Irving and fans. Bring that NBA back.
Please.
Like Reggie Miller and Spike Lee, and we love that. Bring that. I ain't have a problem with what Kyrie Irving was doing. I loved it. More.
yeah, but I will say I'm just praying for that brother because him doing it in Boston is
of course.
Yeah, no. But of course.
I understand why he's doing it.
Yeah. No, but see, that's the thing that I can't stand though. It's like as a player, it's like you're supposed to be, held to a higher standard. Why? Like when you really think about that, why? Because you're a professional athlete. In what world are you being yelled at and then expected to not react? Because the thing is, when we talk about fans, right? And I, like I said, it's a part of the game. But when it starts to get personal, that's different. Especially when you're really not built like that. Especially when if there wasn't anybody around, you probably wouldn't be saying that shit to any of these players. So I get it. It's the playoffs. Emotions are high. I get it saying, like, I even will tolerate the boo or like, you suck. Or like, all right, you're still a player.
Common things.
Right,
but when you start yelling, you know what?
Exactly. And it's like,
curse words, stuff like that.
You feel me? Like,
going
now,
beyond that, it's kind of
if Kyrie wanted to get crazy, which I don't think he is or will, but if he was really a wild dude and he retaliated and said something, well, he kind of did say some wild shit to fans, but this idea, like, it could have gotten way worse, but I just can't stand when people are like, oh, Kyrie shouldn't have done this. What are you talking about? If someone's talking shit about you, you're going to react.
Kyrie from Jersey too. Like people should know about these East Coast hoopers. Like Jersey, New York, like that shit don't faze Kyrie. That's gonna make him play better. Like he grew up on that. Like that mentality, like, yo, that talking shit, that's in their culture in New Jersey and New York. So that shit that Boston doing, it's not gonna faze him. He's gonna keep elevating his game. He's gonna keep being special. And hopefully by the end of the series, like he comes out on top and he could be like, yo, really throwing the middle fingers up at the end of the series. So
that was, it's funny, bro. ESPN really some ops, bro. I say that because, like, why do you show the slow-mo replay of that? Like, I mean, obviously, they got tons of angles, but I'm like, damn, you just going, you feel me? Show the obvious clip of my man's, you know what I'm saying? Give him somebody to think, because you know what the league gonna do after that. You know the league going, that's the fine. You can't be doing that, but damn.
When you got a bag that deep, it's a little slice to him.
Yeah,
it's a little slice. It ain't gonna do nothing. You know how Boston is. Boston.
Well, yeah, but still, to me, I mean, obviously, look, Kyrie not about to have a problem paying a fine. I'm just saying, just the idea of like, damn, like don't make the situation worse by.
But it's drama.
Highlighting
we know in the NBA, like
you're right,
the NBA is all about drama. It's all about being a soap opera. It's all about like narratives. It's all about it's regularly about like the actual game itself. Like there's more people that was talking about like, oh, what he was doing to the fans in that 39-point beautiful masterpiece canvas that he painted the other day.
Yeah. But speaking
of the Hawks,
speaking of Atlanta, you feel me? I got you. Speaking of Atlanta, they got their asses kicked on national television, game 1. Maybe they're fatigued. You play in back-to-back playing games. You do catch dubs in those games. Yeah. They kicked Charlotte's ass. They got out a very, very tough dub in Cleveland. And we never got a chance to talk about that playing game, did we? Atlanta versus Cleveland?
No.
No, it's funny. Someone mentioned to me, who's better? Who would you take? Trae Young or Darius Garland? Let me tell you something. Right now. Darius Garland is cold, right? Darius Garland. I low key hate the fact that he's in Cleveland because market wise stuff like that. But he is a very talented ball player. He's special. Yeah. I think what they're building in Cleveland is going to be dope. Especially when we talk about the post LeBron era. A lot of people didn't even think that team would even make the playoffs, right?
And they didn't.
And okay. Well, at least being 8 seed, right?
I know. I feel you.
But let me tell you something.
There's levels.
There are levels. Trae Young is not normal. Trae Young is not, just he'd be a good player on average team. No.
And it's crazy this.
Hey,
it's crazy this because I will give you credit because you've been sticking with this all season long, and I've been kind of saying like, yo, Darius Garland has arrived, and he has arrived. But you've been saying like, I've been saying like, yo, they probably need to trade Colin Sexton. You the only person I know that's been like, nope. Like no, because it was moments in that game where I was wishing like, yo, Colin Sexton would have showed up. Like he's a big time moment type of player. Like that would have been him. He wouldn't have been hitting key shots. He wouldn't have been making plays offensively or defensively. So I'm thinking like now, before I was all like, yo, Darius Garland has the keys. Like you probably had to get rid of Colin Sexton. But now I'm just like, yo, Darius Garland can have the keys. But like you probably need to keep and pay Colin Sexton because Colin Sexton is a guy like, yo, he does a lot of things very, very well. And if he could just tame himself during the regular season, you'll really see his greatness probably in the postseason.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you think about the core that they have. You got Darius Garland. You have Colin Sexton. Evan Mobley, who might just win Rookie of the Year. Right? You got Jared Allen, all-star. I mean, well, you think they can win a championship with that is a different topic, but like the core is there. And so, but one thing too, to your point, the talent is one thing, but then to have a guy who can say, you know what, I'm going to step up to the plate. Right? I'm going to be able to get a bucket when it matters the most. I'm going to be able to defend when it matters the most. And so I think, they should pay Colin Sexton. I remember that being like a title of an episode. Pay Colin Sexton. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a guy, like I know they overachieved this year without him. Yeah. But still, don't get carried away. Don't get greedy. Don't think that just was like, we don't need no. All right, Colin Sexton don't come around every day. So, but yeah, that's playing. I'm talking about playing. I don't know how. You get to get,
That's what I said. You talking about Trae Young. Trae Young having levels to this guard play.
Right, there's levels.
It was nasty with the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks. I said 7. I'm going may get them out in 5. You know how I feel about the Hawks, but Miami is my my team that I grew up watching. So, and I've been on talking about how great they are balance wise. They have shooting. They got a star in Jimmy Butler. Really got a star in Bam. Really, they got veteran leadership in Kyle Lowry. Got his championship stamped. Like they got players. So and they got a Hall of Fame coach on the bench. So it may be dark times in the A.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, right? Unfortunately for Trey, he has to have a great game, right? Like, he has to have a perfect game. Like you look at Kevin Durant's situation.
Yeah.
You know, Kyrie just gave Boston 40 and they almost won.
Yeah.
That's not about to happen with Atlanta. And so it's like the pressure's on Trey, and I think he wants that. I mean, I think like he's okay with that. Fortunately, I think Trey, and also he's prepared for that. You saw what the hell he was doing at Oklahoma, even before the Hawks. Like it was like he's used to having to do that. But I think, unfortunately, when we consider the fact that in order to win a playoff series, you can't have a single digit point performance. You know what I'm saying? And again, the only reason why I feel like that, as you know, is because I hold certain players to a high standard. If I didn't think Trey was cold, I wouldn't be saying this. I would.
True.
Yeah, I'd be on the. See, I told y'all Trey wasn't like that. Trey's ass, but nah. I mean,
which is crazy because it was a lot of Knicks fans on my timeline screaming. It was good way, and I'm just like, y'all need to slow this. Well,
hey, how come the Knicks can do that? And that's really our energy. See, I told y'all Trey wasn't like that. He did it to y'all. Yeah. So what are we really talking about here? What did I say about your team then?
Yeah, they just sour. You know how that goes. They just sour. But I will say for I will say for the Trey Young situation, it's kind of like you said about the Nets. Like Kevin Durant plays bad, he still has Kyrie, and even then, I was talking about like them not having James Harden, like them having to constantly play well all the time together to probably go to the finals. That's what I think is going to have to happen. But it's even tougher when you look around and like you got to play well. The team depends on you to play well all the time, especially for Trey Young and his size. Like we see players like Giannis, we see guys like LeBron James, we see guys like Luka Doncic, like dual force, guys that can really do this shit all the time. You know, said Trey Young does it, but it's just like he's not gonna be able to do it like them all the time because like he's just, unfortunately, his size. And it might be. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and also too, those guys were able to at least have some sort of impact defensively as well.
True.
Right. So again, at that size, like, all right. So the thing is, right. So even if they didn't have great offensive games, at least there was some sort of impact defensively. But for Trey, it's like if Trey, it sucks because like if Trey isn't giving you 30 and 10, then it's like, okay. And that's a high ass standard. That's a high expectation. But it's like, well, it is what it is. And that's why a team that's built like that, it's like, okay, well, if one player, specifically Trey Young, is having a bad game, how do you adapt? What adjustments can be made? And
also he's playing a team that's very physical. Like
that doesn't help.
The Miami Heat, like, if you watch the games, it was times Trey was getting fouled beyond the scenes. Like when the camera wasn't rolling, like, he's getting slapped, he's getting pushed, like he's getting bumped. Like that's Miami Heat's type of culture. That's their type of like defensive philosophy. Like they're gonna like make you. They're gonna like. It's a reason why Jimmy Butler like did that shit to Trey Young early in the game. Like he wanted to set the
turn me up.
He wanted to set like the refs. This is how it's gonna be. This is gonna be a physical game. And the refs saw what Trey Young did. It's like, all right, that's how this. And sometimes when you're playing in a game, like refs to see that, it's like, and they'll start calling things a certain way. Okay, this how we gonna call it. Before it's like the Miami Heat, what they're doing to Trey Young defensively is basically, it's like this. Like Trey, you're a great passer. You're a great scorer. We're going to allow you to do one or the other. Either you're going to have to go out and drop 35, 40, 50 points, or you're going to go out and drop 10, 15 assists, but you're not going to do both. And that's what the Miami Heat are going to do.
And they need him to do both. See, that's nothing that sucks too. That's nothing that sucks too. Is
that's the problem.
Like LeBron and Luka, I would say.
Giannis.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say Giannis. Like, well, let me finish my statement. I'll say,
go ahead.
Players that need, like there we go. Teams that need their best player to score and facilitate. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And you even made the case that it's not like that with LeBron with the healthy AD, right? But like Trey has to score and pass. Harden with those Houston teams, he had to score and pass. Luka has to score and pass. Giannis, he still has Chris Middleton, right? He still has Drew Holiday, guys that can put the ball in the basket. Like, you're not going to wake up and expect Giannis to get you 10 assists. in order to win. Luka and Trey, oh yeah, nah. Them little 4 assist games or whatever, that's not gonna cut it. But at the same time too, those little 20-point games, it's not gonna cut it. So y'all, those two, they got to do everything. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
that's why, and that's crazy because that's why I look at Trae Young as such a rare breed, and that's why I say it's levels. Because like when we see players of his caliber, like Tiny Archibald, Isaiah Thomas, Allen Iverson, Stephen Curry, like he's cut for that same cloth of having that responsibility of like, yo, you got to score, but you got to pass. Not Allen Iverson to a certain degree, but I always had that responsibility.
But
like,
the
weight on your shoulders. Like, yo, this team runs if you run. Like you have to carry us. You have to take us to the promised land. And he's built for it, but it's still tough.
That he's built for it, but I think it's similar to AI's or one playoff series in the finals. It depends on the matchup you're going up against, right? Because like as good as you might be, to your point, if you small and you going up against some dogs,
that's what's going on right now.
You know what I'm saying? You still a human being. Yeah, like Trey is cold, but you going up against some dogs. Like, you know
this, but you've been watching that. The playoffs is all about matchup. Playoffs is all about matchup. It's a reason why I feel like the Milwaukee Bucks. I think Milwaukee Bucks is the best team in the Eastern Conference. I didn't pick them to go to the finals because of matchups. I just feel like they're gonna have a hard time going against possibly the Brooklyn Nets and then possibly the Miami Heat. And then possibly, what do you got to go against the Golden State Warriors in the finals? Or you have to face the Phoenix Suns. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like, yo, that's a tough-ass road. That's a tough-ass road, if you're really being honest. When you got teams like the Suns that got to face, like, the New York Pelicans, and then probably got to face, like, Luka Doncic or the Utah Jazz. Luka Doncic or the Utah Jazz. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you banged up, but by the time you get to the finals, but,
Yeah, but shout out to Dallas, too, for putting up a big fight. Yeah. You know, like, not having your best player in Luka, but still, you know what I'm saying, coming close.
I got to get this take.
Go ahead. I was getting ready to say, I don't know if that's more praise for Dallas or an insult to Utah, but I'm going to let you go. I don't know. But I will say, it is playoff time, right? So everyone's game elevate, right? Like that Dallas team, with or without Luka, is not the same as it was intensity-wise. True. As who they were in the regular season. So I'm going to give up. And it sounds like you finna disagree.
The Utah Jazz suck.
That's tough.
It's that simple. It's that simple. There's no way in hell you should be struggling. Like, I know it's game one, like you said, adrenaline's high and the rush and stuff like that, playoff atmosphere, playoffs in general. But like, yo, it's like that team is not a contender. It's not a playoff team. It's probably not even a play-in team without Luka Doncic. Like, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're trash. At the end of the day, it's just kind of like, I said it before the postseason started, this would probably be Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert's last hoorah together. So even if they win this series, whatever. They're going home next round. But who knows? Like, what if they lose and then Luka Doncic comes back and it's tied. They're down. The Dallas Mavericks are already down 2-1, and then they lose the series because Luka is back by game 4 or something. So, and he just goes crazy it's crazy.
Well, you know it's possible.
That's what I'm saying. It's possible. Like, that says a lot about the Jazz.
Yeah,
that's even possible. This
the game is a game. So are we missing a series? I think we got one more left. I think it's Sixers and Raptors. Is that the only?
Yeah, Sixers Raptors. A lot of bodies are hurt for the Toronto Raptors. I'm changing my opinion on that too. I said 7. That shit's cooked. You can change your opinion. You can change your opinion as long as you had the right team.
I'm not changing shit. My you're on the tag. I'm good. I'm good.
You're fine. You've been on it. You've been on it. But I was giving teams benefit of the doubt.
I told you. I literally told you. I told you how quickly we forget.
That shit get wrapped up in 5. The only series that matters in the first round, I'm not gonna hold you, is the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics. That's the only series that I'm really like. Even we talk about the Bucks and the Bulls. That shit getting wrapped up too. DeMar DeRozan.
But you know what though? I don't know. I still got Milwaukee. Don't get twisted. Yeah. But like, it might not be like this. It might not be Brooms. I don't know if that's a hot take, but They still don't. Somebody's saying that L, but like I don't know if it's gonna be Bruins, bro.
They competed, and DeMar DeRozan had tour dates.
But you know what though? But you know what though? That's the same case against the Nets though. Like your best player
true.
didn't have a great game, and you lost in a close one. So I mean, if you really think about it,
I think yeah.
I'm just saying. True. Like
shout out to former Los Angeles Lakers Alex Caruso. He was impressive defensively. Like
no, his memes were hilarious. People talking about how you'd have to guard Chris Giannis and Drew in the first 6 minutes.
But it's crazy. It's crazy though that he was doing that though. That's what I'm saying. I talk about perimeter defense all the time. Like, yo, that matters, especially if you're a guard and you not only you guard on the perimeter, but you could guard in the post some too. You ain't gonna stop you, but you making it hard for him. That's shout out to Alex Caruso. That's very impressive. One of the best defenders in the league.
Facts. Former Laker NBA champion. Hopefully, hopefully here the Bulls can get at least one dub. But it's definitely possible though.
One competitive series in the first round, and that's the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets.
That series was low-key competitive though.
What?
Bulls Bucks?
Yeah, but it was kind of like it was kind of like the Bucks kind of took their foot off the gas. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those situations. They got bored. Yeah, they got bored. It's like one of those situations. Damn, we whooping their ass. We can't wait for this to get over with. And then it's like you start playing around. You ever been in those games where you start playing around like it's like overgym like it's we got to score to 16 to win. We at 14. You start taking like crazy fadeaway. You start shooting for the half court.
Hey, but you know what though? Sometimes though. You can mess around and play too damn late and then lose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
you don't get too happy and then, all right, yo.
Especially in the playoffs.
Especially
in the playoffs.
Yeah, because especially if you're the defending champs. Don't let it be you. But you know what, though? You've had some good games, right? Hopefully we see some even better ones,
It's fun.
Yeah. But yeah, you got anything else? I just want to.
We could be talking about the next podcast. We talking about series is over with right now, but who knows? We could be talking about we have a series. That just shows you how things can change so quickly in the playoffs.
Right, especially like you said in the playoffs. And just the idea of all this is a 4-game series. So 7-game series, but first to 4 to win. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna say this: Game 1, nobody get too excited, right? Like. Regardless of, at the end of the day, it's still one game. The only team that should probably feel like, all right, we good is probably the Phoenix Suns. Everybody else, Miami Heat too, because I mean that
true.
That shit was bad. But other than that, yeah, man, good playoffs so far. Couple of housekeeping items before we slide. Of course, you already know 5-star rating, Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. Get active and subscribe to YouTube. And just like that, y'all, keep enjoying these playoffs and. We gone. Peace.
It's your boy, My K Smith, also known as A-Kiss. Make sure you guys go follow No Pump Fakes wherever you get your podcasts.